All right. Hey there. We are doing it. It is Ben at 10 this morning here, straight up 10 a.m. on the September the 18th. Good Thursday morning. Happy Friday Eve to you. We actually have a lot of weather to cover. It's going to be quiet. It's going to be seasonally hot and dry for the next couple of days, but we do have a big weather pattern change for next week with some wetter conditions expected on the way. So we're going to talk about that. That might put a dent in the drought across the area. We've got an update on the drought status, which is kind of interesting. We'll show you that here in a second. We've got some active weather developing out in the tropics with Tropical Storm Gabrielle. We've got your weather jokes. We've got your weather history. We've got it all here coming up on Ben at 10. So thanks for watching. If you're watching on my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, thanks for the like or the follow there. Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media, Extol Media. Search that in not Facebook, but you can search that in Facebook, but also YouTube is where you can find our live stream every morning at extolmag.com/weather. So waiting for some folks to get on board. Feel free to drop in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Always love those good mornings. And here is a good morning from our live cam here in uptown New Albany, where we're seeing nothing but sunshine, pretty much just sun-drenched across the area again for today. It is just gorgeous weather. I mean, it's hot a bit in the afternoon, but I don't know if you've been out in it. It doesn't actually feel that bad. And here you can see the clear sky that we have overhead. The active weather is out to our west. That is a low pressure system out here over the Great Plains and the northern Midwest, just swirling. And eventually, I think that active weather will begin to slide our way Sunday through much of next week. It might kind of park out and give us several days of good rain chances next week. So that'll be a big thing we talk about. But for now, you can see the completely clear sky overhead. And again, if you are new to the show, I'm meteorologist Ben Peine, and we're talking about weather in detail for about 45 minutes or so throughout southern Indiana and beyond. And so right off the bat, we'll give you the forecast. Then we're going to take a deeper dive into the forecast with the weather history, the weather jokes, and all that good stuff. We'll look at some events coming up too. And then around 10:20, generally around then, we will do the deep dive into the long range forecast with the weather models. So we got a lot on tap for today here for you. Adding to the stage, the forecast here for today, we have another air quality alert for the third day in a row. It's code orange. This is for sensitive groups. If you have breathing issues, COPD, asthma might be affected. It is not for the general public. Hot and dry through Saturday. I've only got a 10% chance of a super small chance of an isolated shower Saturday. Rain chances start to pick up Sunday. Some occasional pop-up showers and thunderstorms Sunday, Monday. And then looking at some wetter days potentially next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as a low pressure system could park out over the region. So again, there is our unhealthy for sensitive groups orange air quality alert for today. That play ball forecast 82 at noon. Really just copy and paste what we've had the last several days. A dry heat, the humidity not bad, feels decent in the shade, especially 90 degrees, and then 80 degrees at 8 p.m. We've got a tennis match up in New Wash, a little bit there in eastern Clark County this evening. Just a very light breeze here for us. So looking pretty much all good across the region. Getting a few comments popping in, and I'd like to offer you a good morning here from good old Big Happy, as always. And let me, all right, bring that up. Everybody should take a drink every time I say, let me bring that up. That's my filler as I'm punching different buttons here. All right, let's take a look. Or take a look. I think those are my catchphrases. Beverly Haggis, good morning from Borden, Indiana. Almost always the first to pop in. We've got a good morning as well. Great weather, great coffee there. That's a good combination. And check out Orlean Whitlow had a low down of 57. We're having like 30-degree temperature spreads because of this dry air. So 57 in the morning. Now it's already 70 degrees. That also reminds me to take a look at this, our updated drought monitor. So the drought monitor is updated every week on a Thursday. So today's Thursday, and we are looking at extolmag.com/weather. We've got your weather resources here. Our live stream is up and running here at extolmag.com/weather. And here is a look at the interactive radar, the 7-day forecast. I will be updating the big weather story for next week's rain chances a little bit later this morning and into the afternoon. And as we bring up the drought monitor, pretty much almost all of Indiana and Kentucky is under a moderate drought. Severe drought, Western Kentucky. Now, there is a little sliver that is not a drought because of Saturday night and the Sunday morning's rain. We'll talk more about that here in just a second as well. We've got Lily and Lasley popping in here. My big day was doctor and shopping, and for lunch, White Castle. Ooh, I need to get some. Actually, I've got the pack of White Castles from Sam's in my freezer. Thanks for the reminder. I might have to break those out for a real healthy lunch today. Here's another live look outside, as well as we pop up the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera, looking along the waterfront here. And it wouldn't hurt to put a little water in that big old Ohio River, and the water in our soils too. And that's a big thing we're going to talk about, is the weather pattern change towards wetter conditions for next week here in just a second. And also the National Hurricane Center. We've got Tropical Storm Gabrielle here, so we'll look at the track of that in just a moment. First, a few announcements, and then we'll dig into your forecast. LionsRoofingCo.com is where you can find more information. If you have any roofing questions, you can fill out that free estimate right there, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime here in Southern Indiana and Kentucky. So both sides of the river, you want to give them a call to learn more, 812-294-3595. You may want to work hand in hand with your insurance company. You may want to get a quote too. So our car insurance renewal went down, one of the few companies that have lowered their rates, American Family Insurance here with Michael Long. You can tell him that I sent you, 812-578-3072. You can go to amfam.com, right where I'm at right here, and search Michael Long, and you'll find his contact there. Just talked with the owner of Libs Paving yesterday, the top asphalt contractor around, and they do still, I believe, have a few job openings there. Let me get rid of that there, make that a little bit bigger. So you can go to Libs Paving, go to careers, and there are still some opportunities there for maybe you or a family member or someone you know that wants an opportunity. That is libspaving.com. You can also level up your opportunities with post-secondary education right here in our backyard. ivytech.edu locations, their beautiful campus, exit 9 miles north of Louisville. And you can find just a ton more there at their page here at ivytech.edu. Or you can go Tuesdays at the Tech and get one-on-one information on how to sign up, how to pay for college, how to register, all that good stuff. And we were talking yesterday with my son Brady about the dual credits and Prosser that you may want to look into. If you know a high schooler, it can help out a ton. So thanks to all of our partners there. Okay, back to the drought stuff that I was talking about. So this is the drought monitor for today. And if I click on Indiana here, and again, we've got you linked up to this at extolmag.com/weather. So remember Saturday night into Sunday morning, that rain that went from basically Seymour down I-65 into my backyard in Clark County. Well, they've taken that little area out of the drought. So that little sliver of rain that we picked up actually helped things out. And then surrounding that, most of Indiana under drought status. And then Kentucky, as we bring that up, almost all the state also under, that is moderate drought, D1, and then Western Kentucky under D2, severe drought, and even a little tiny portion of Southwestern Kentucky under extreme drought conditions. So we get the point. We need some rainfall, and that is what we'll be forecasting here for you in just a moment. All right, we've got a lot going on actually this weekend. It is, kind of festival time of the year, and we've got a lot of sports going on. Hey, it's the Bats' last homestand this weekend. The minor league season is wrapping up, so they are taking on the Nashville Sounds out at Slugger Field this evening. I think their game is at 6:35, so good weather for that. Should be good for Friday, Saturday, maybe a pop-up shower on Sunday. And then Loose City FC, they've got their match Saturday, 7:30. Should be warm and mostly dry, south wind 5 to 10, starting off in the 80s. So pretty feel-good weather out there. And then the ARCA Menard Series, Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 at the Salem Speedway. Let's go racing on the legendary high banks. Might be heading out there myself. You can meet one of the racers, Will Kimmel, right out of Clarksville. The Kimmel racing team will be in that race. You can see them, meet them. They'll have the car out at Menards Friday evening. So a lot going on. Here are your stupid weather jokes. So the first one was actually written by my son Brady yesterday. What is the opposite of a clean god? A dust devil or a dusty devil. Not bad. I made this one up today. What is a cloud's favorite guitar? A Stratocaster. So if you know Fenders, you know the Stratocaster. Not bad. What did the bee say to the flower? You've got to be pollen my leg. There's your free jokes of the day. I'll give them a 6 or 7 out of 10. All right, today's weather history. Back in 1852, a meteorologist way back in the day in England used the first proper name for a tropical cyclone. 1926, the great Miami hurricane hit downtown Miami and killed a bunch of people, and very little of Miami and Miami Beach were left intact. A lot of these I have no clue about. I'm a meteorologist. I'm learning about these brand new with you. 1972, Dover, Indiana, baseball-sized hail falls and causes extensive window breakage in the area. 1991, so we're starting to see in the weather history, we're starting to see the first snowfalls for areas, and we're going to start to see those getting closer as we get closer to fall. So in 1991, Duluth, Minnesota saw 2.4 inches of snow, making it their earliest snow on record. The heaviest September snowfall by almost an inch. 2003, Hurricane Isabel hit North Carolina, and then 2015 in Colburn and Tippecanoe County, Indiana, severe thunderstorms brought 80-mile-per-hour winds. And autumn begins in 4 days. We have average highs in the 60s in a month. Halloween just after that. Average first flurries in 58 days. And no change here. The ragweed remains high all through the area. You got to be pollen my leg. Your forecast today for your Thursday, September the 18th, hot sunshine, just like yesterday. Humidity staying pretty low. Feels pretty good in the shade. 90 degrees and just a very light and variable wind on our sunset at 7:45. And again, we have that code orange air quality alert for today. Tonight, a low 64 degrees, clear and calm, which is a light breeze, if any breeze. And the sun up at 7:28 tomorrow. Tomorrow's forecast, just like today, up to around 91 degrees for your Friday. Average high is 81, so about 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year. Normal low is 61. Thankfully, again, we're having these big temperature spreads, and we can cool off at nighttime very nicely. Sun up at 7:28, sunset at 7:44. We've got a good morning here from Dennis Gregory. Full on sunshine up there in Bedford, Indiana. Thank you for the sunny report. And that's what we're going to have all across the region is sunny skies. Football forecast, we'll have 80s for the kickoff tomorrow evening. And then halftime, once the sun sets and we have night falling and we have the low humidity, will likely start to fall into the upper 70s around halftime and postgame. So all in all, just really comfortable out there for football. Maybe not if you're a player in the pads and everything when it's a little bit on the hot side. 90 for Saturday. And then we're looking at mostly dry conditions Saturday. I only have a 10% chance of a little isolated shower Saturday, but most areas will stay dry. Going to up that to a 30% chance of a shower or thunderstorm for Sunday with highs in the upper 80s. So staying warm for the rest of summer. That is the rest of summer. This is our last summer weekend, guys. There it goes. Monday, fall officially begins at 2:19 p.m. on our September 22nd with 86. On the warm side, touch more humidity, I think, next week as we start to get a south breeze as this low pressure system moves into our area. We'll see that with the future radar with the GFS weather model here in just a second. And then as the rain chances increase, I drop the temperatures a little bit next week. Middle of next week, especially Wednesday, Thursday, kind of looking the wettest right now. Both the Euro and the GFS weather model and the Canadian weather model are bringing in these higher rain chances and a more unsettled weather pattern for next week. So hovering around 80 degrees with those higher rain chances next Wednesday and Thursday. So there is the forecast. And now we're going to bring up the weather model data here for us. And just another live look, as Dennis was mentioning up there in Bedford, same in New Albany with just a completely clear sky across the area. And Lily and Lasley with the live weather report too, with 71 degrees there in Grayson County. And I can kind of match that up as well as I bring up the live interactive radar here at extolmag.com/weather. And you can plop on some other parameters here, like our temperatures showing upper 60s and lower 70s across our region. And then your rain is way out, probably 400 or 500 miles out to the west in northwestern Missouri. That's the closest rain around. And as it is very dry across the Ohio Valley and the south and to the east as well. So that's what we have there. And there you can see the clear sky overhead, completely clear throughout the Hoosier State and the Commonwealth. And then there's that rain farther out to the west. And a quick update with the tropics, and then we'll look ahead with the weather models here. So just plop this on with these spaghetti plots. We go out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean here, and that is Tropical Storm Gabrielle with maximum sustained winds at around 47 miles per hour. And then it could become a hurricane, but notice it just stays way out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and never impacts the United States. So there we go. Another tropical system that will behave, and that doesn't look like it'll bother many people whatsoever. All right, I'll go ahead and turn that off, and we will go ahead and bring up. We'll do one high resolution weather model to see if we can get into this. Probably not going to show anything, but we'll take a look at it anyway, because the next couple of days are mostly dry across the area. Okay, so let's bring up NAM 3-kilometer reflectivity, going just quick into this afternoon, as that rain will stay out to our west, so nothing there. I'm going to jump ahead to Friday, where it looks like some areas out west, the rain tries to get close. So this is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Notice that rain lining up out in Illinois and far western Kentucky as we head into our Friday night at 10 p.m. here. It shows that rain near the Wabash River trying to move into Indiana, but I think it fizzles out before it gets here. So we're going to keep tomorrow dry. And then let's switch this over to the GFS weather model. As we look ahead to our Saturday, the 20th. So I've jumped ahead now. We're fast forwarding to 11 a.m. Saturday afternoon. So I've just got a 10% chance of rain going. Notice just a little blip of green. But I think most of your Saturday is going to be dry if you have some plans, and that would be good for the Kentuckiana, what is it, 200, the race at the Salem Speedway Saturday. We got a race Friday too, I believe. Okay, let's go into Sunday. That's when I think we're going to see things changing. We're starting to get a low pressure system moving into the region, and this should give us a chance of a pop-up shower thunderstorm. There you can see that. They might be kind of widely scattered, hit or miss variety, but at least we're starting to see some liquid gold for the regions, that water out of the sky. So there we see the ridge of high pressure that's been keeping us high and dry breaks down. Low pressure begins to move into the region. So that starts to open up the door to some rain chances here for us. That is our Sunday evening at 8 p.m. I would say in general, for our Sunday, areas northwest will have a higher chance of rain. Farther southeast, lower chance of rain. In generalmente, in general, that's kind of what it looks like. Now we go into the 22nd, which is our first day of fall. It's not showing much. The Euro has more rain than this, so I just got a 30% chance going for Monday. But Tuesday, we start to see, this is Tuesday the 23rd. We start to see that rain chance increasing, especially just out to the west. And then I'm going to go 40% chance Wednesday the 24th. There you can see the rain chances across the area. This is good to see. Going into the 25th, that would be our Thursday next week, so a week from now. And it still shows some scattered rain across the area. And this would be associated with a trough in the jet stream, a dip in the jet stream. So let's see if we can see this with the So this doesn't show it as good as I would like, but this would be a low pressure system right here. Oops, let me see if I can bring in something a little bit better. So this shows the winds at around 5,000 feet. It just shows overall we're getting more unsettled across the area. So we're getting some ingredients for just rain. We need some rain across the area. So it looks like we'll be getting that next week. All right, let me bring up the precipitable water. So we're getting a little more water content in the air as well. It's not going to be crazy humid. So what this is a kind of a good way to show it. This is the upper level low that may develop over the region. There's a little bit of a swirl right here. And these things are slow. So as they park out over the region, this will give us those daily chances of some spotty showers and thunderstorms. And that's kind of what the doctor ordered here. We need this rain. So take this into Friday. Still might be kind of parked out over the area. So now I'm kind of curious about the dew points that measure water content in the air. So it stays a bit humid. Now I'm going to the 27th of September. I don't even, what day would that be? That would be Saturday, the 27th. Still got some humidity. Notice it's kind of a nation divided here as far as moist and dry air. The western half of the United States into really dry air. That's that red is real dry. And then the green and the blue, that is the more humid summer-like air. So when might that drier air win? Well, this is going to the Sunday, the 28th. Here is the 29th. Look at that sharp contrast. That would be fall trying to win the battle here. So this is going into like, the last Monday of September. Let's see if it ever wins the battle here. All right, so there we go. There's the front moving through on the 29th of September. And since we're looking this far out, we know it is that time. Good old Ben on a limb time. All right, so if we're going to get I think a weather pattern change. Let me try to explain this a little bit better. Break it down. So we've been in drought conditions, really dry September. The weather pattern changes next week with a low pressure system to give us daily chances of rain, putting a dent in the drought. So that's one weather pattern change. But we're still kind of humid, kind of summer-like. Until the very end of September, maybe the last day or two of September into early October, the Euro and the GFS calling for that Canadian air to win. So what would that be, like week 2, almost into week 3? That's when we might start to see that fall air returning, because that's going to be the next question. When can we get that crisp fall air to arrive as summer kind of lingers on as we start fall? So as we bring up the temperatures, here we go. This would be afternoon highs on the 29th. So obviously looking a lot better there, dropping down to the 70s. And then, of course, following that, we would be talking about some cooler nighttime temperatures back down to the 50s. Of course, earlier in this month, we enjoyed those cool nights, almost chilly with 40s and 50s. So back to that kind of a weather pattern, very late September, early October. It looks like the soonest that would be back to that Canadian air dropping over our area. And there you can see, look at all that blue winning from Canada, pushing all the muggy air down, way down south. And that's kind of what happens here. You sometimes you get the south breeze to win, the more summer-like weather, which we're having, and the humidity goes up a little bit next week. But then when that happens, you're recharging the cool air feedback up in Canada, and eventually that begins to have more strength and then wins the frontal battle, so to speak. So again, we'll see what happens, but that's your long range outlook there. And who wants that? Some of you want summer to linger. Some of you are ready for fall to kick in. But hopefully we'll have a good, harvest season here as the combines are out in the fields. We've got Beverly Haggis popping in. My daughter's wedding reception is Saturday, hoping for nice weather. Yeah, it should be just about like what we have out there for today. Should be mainly dry across the area. Mike Schroeder popping in the comments. Good news on some rain. We need it. Actually, let's add up the rain next week. The Euro is showing maybe a good inch or two. We'll take a look at the GFS. I haven't added up all the rain on the GFS weather model, but we'll go ahead and do that. We've got Mike saying, fall, bring on some snow. Bots, bring on the snow. Cotton pockets. All right, great info. Thanks for tuning in here. So let's go ahead and add up all of the rainfall through next week. So I'm going to go to Friday the 26th. And that's what's great about a live stream, guys. I used to do television, of course, and I'd have like 2.5, 3 minutes to talk about everything weather-wise. But now we've got as much time as we want here on the live stream to take these deep dives into your forecast. So this is the GFS weather model that we've got here. Oops. Zoom in. Looks like heavier rain out west. This is the total amount of rainfall through next Friday. So this is basically our Sunday rain chances start to increase and almost a daily rain chance next week. As we add this up, we'll take a look. That shows an inch. Shows a half inch. That shows an inch and a half. And then the heavier amounts out west. So this shows anywhere from about a half inch to an inch and a half of rain next week. Might not completely destroy the drought, but it's going to help. The European weather model seems wetter than the GFS weather, so you might even tack on an inch to that per the European weather model if that one wins out. So there we go. We got some positive news, and that'll give the meteorologists like myself something to talk about next week because it has been a very quiet September. So there we go. That is the big weather pattern change. One last thing I'm going to try to bring up is the jet stream. It's just something I want to check out. And I'm going to take this back to late, let's say the 29th of October. And that is why we would cool down. That is the dip in the jet stream. There we go. So that is a big dip in the jet stream diving down. So that would unlock that Canadian air late in the month and into early October. So we'll see if that happens. Like I always say, put it in the back of your mind. We'll try to think back when it's late September, early October, and see if this segment was correct, because it is. The good old Ben on a Limb segment there. Good morning from Big Happy. Hope you're having a good day. Good morning late. So you guys pop it in late, John Fox. We've got your forecast. I'm ready to load that up here for you. So we always like to do the recap of the forecast to wrap up the show. And that's what we are about to do here. So let me go ahead. I'm going to start this off with the weather headlines. And we'll bring that back up. We've got Vicky Berger with a sunny in Salem. Hello, for sure, sunny. Steve Givens winterized the pool yesterday, but still would enjoy some more low 80s temperatures. So I've got to figure that out too. We've got a very, I call it the pool in the box thing in the backyard. I've got to figure out what to do with that here soon. Maybe I'll just keep it up and then we can do the ice baths in the morning. Those are real popular this day and age. Yes, sir, and thank you. All right, let's bring it up. Let's get that forecast popped up here. There we go. Air quality alert for the third day in a row for sensitive groups, not for the general public. Hot and dry through Saturday. Pop-up shower starting to get in the forecast Sunday. Higher chance northwest, lower chance southeast. So like towards Lake Cumberland Sunday, drier. Up towards Patoka, wetter, if you know your lakes. Looking wetter next week, as we saw. And Lillian Lasley with Have an Awesome Day. Thanks for joining us this morning, Lillian. As always, there's that code orange air quality alert, unhealthy for sensitive groups. Play ball forecast 90 will be out in New Wash for tennis today. Looking forward to that match. 0% chance of rain and just a very light wind out there. It's the last Bats homestand. I wouldn't mind trying to get a game in this weekend versus the Nashville Sounds. The minor league season is wrapping up. So if you haven't had a chance to get out there you go, out at Slugger Field this weekend. I think the game is at 6:35 this evening. And then Lou City FC has their match at 7:30. I think they're taking on the Las Vegas Lights Saturday evening. Should be good weather for that as well. And the Ark and Menard Series, Kentucky and Ford Dealers 200 at Salem Speedway. Want to try to check that out too. Let's go racing on the legendary High Banks. And you can check out one of the racers, Will Kimmel, and their car, sponsored by Weddington Custom Homes, out at Menards Friday evening. Here's your stupid weather jokes. My son made this one up yesterday because we were talking about the Dust Devil that was on my page that had over 300,000 views. And in case you didn't see that Dust Devil, here, I'll pop it up with the weather jokes here. It was really probably one of the biggest Dust Devils I have seen in our region. And I don't have the clip loaded. Sorry, guys. I teased you about it. I don't have it loaded. Wait, I might be able to bring that up. Hold on. Bear with me. But the joke is from my son. What is the opposite of a clean god, a dust devil, or dusty devil? Not too bad. All right, here's the dust devil up in Orleans. Look at the size of that thing right there. That can do some damage. That can hurt you. Picking up rocks and sticks and stuff like that. So there you go. That video had over 300,000 views. And let's bring the jokes back up. So that's where that joke came from. What is the opposite of a clean god? A dusty devil. What is the Cloud's favorite guitar? A Stratocaster. I wrote that one today. What did the bee say to the flower? You've got to be pollen my leg. Today's weather history, you can take a longer look at this. I'm going to post this around 12:10 p.m. But the most interesting ones to me right now on the weather history is we're starting to see the earliest snows on record get closer to our region. That was in Duluth, Minnesota back in 1991. They said they had 2.5 inches of snow. Autumn begins in 4 days, average highs in the 60s in 31 days. Halloween in 43, average first flurries in 58 days. The ragweed remains high. You got to be pollen my leg. Thursday, September the 18th. That is today. Our Friday Eve, 90 degrees, hot sunshine, humidity staying pretty low across the area. Just a very light breeze. Our sunset at 7:45. Tonight, the ACs get a break again with lows in the lower to mid 60s. With that dry air still in place. Your Friday, September the 19th, same as today, going 91, that high, and stays dry. Average high is 81 this time of the year, so we're running about 10 degrees above normal. And the Friday night football forecast, well into the 80s at kickoff, and then hoping to drop it in the 70s after sunset, so after halftime and postgame, should be pretty comfortable out there. Just going a 10% chance of a very super small isolated shower Saturday, but most areas will stay dry. And then for our last summer weekend, 30% chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm Sunday, higher chance northwest, lower chance southeast, and then about a 30% chance of a shower Monday as well. I think the rain chances begin to ramp up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as we have a kind of a stuck low-pressure system in the region, and that should give us some unsettled weather next week. As the rain chances go up, I've dropped the temperatures a little bit, should have some more clouds around, hovering maybe around 80 or so next Wednesday and Thursday. So that's the big old forecast right there. We got 90-plus days till Christmas. It's going to come quick. This year, I feel like, has been flying by. I don't know if anybody else has seemed like that to anybody else. It's like summer is already gone. What's happening here? It's just going too quickly, in my opinion. All right. As we start to wrap up the show, just a reminder here, as always, you can get in contact with me if you have a weather question, just want to connect, or if you want some advertising solutions, you want to see your logo, your organization, your business on our products here, Extol Weather, Extol Media. We can help you out. Just email me, Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com, to find out some more information about that. Bringing this guy back up here, and you can always get your weather needs anytime you want here at the big old extolmag.com/weather. It's got your live temperatures, radar, everything you need, and more. Weather story. The drought monitor released today. We talked about this a little bit earlier, which I thought was very interesting. In Indiana, where we had rain along the I-65 corridor Saturday night into Sunday, that is reflected here. So you see basically no drought right along 65, but then most of the state under a moderate drought. And then the same can be said for Kentucky, as Kentucky, most of the state is also under a moderate drought. So as we talked about those rain chances next week, much welcomed rain chances for our area. Another live look outside here with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera. It is full on sunshine, sun drenched, severe clear, as the pilots say. And there is Tropical Storm Gabrielle that will not impact the United States. And a shout out to our partners before we wrap things up. Lions Roofing, lionsroofingco.com, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. You can scroll down their page, find more information about this great company and a great family-run company out of Memphis, Indiana, 812-294-3595. They got you covered on both sides of the river. They also have a job opening here for you, roofing repair technician. You can learn all about it and how to apply right there online. Sometimes you got to work with your insurance company for your roof, but for cars especially, they've actually had a price drop with American Family Insurance. You may want to get a quote and tell Michael Long here that I sent you. 812-578-3072. And you can go to his page right here, amfam.com, which I did, and just search Michael Long, and you'll find him. And there's still some job openings here at libspaving.com. I talked to Jeff Libbs yesterday. Family-owned, great company as well, right out of the knobs. And you can learn more about their careers here at libspaving.com. You can level up your career as well. 42 programs and counting, 2-year certifications. They make it very easy for you. And a lot of these credits are transferable to other universities, and they have partnerships with companies all throughout Southern Indiana and Kentucky, and they're powering the workforce here in Southern Indiana and beyond. You go to the Sellersburg campus, and you can learn all about the Ivy experience and register for Tuesdays at the Tech, where you can get one-on-one help and information. My son Brady was on the show for a little bit yesterday doing a job shadow, and he was talking about how he loves Prosser. He'll be, just as his sister did, starting as a second semester sophomore in college, thanks to all of the free credits in high school at Ivy Tech, which do get to transfer. Boom. That is a Ben at 10 here as we come up to 10:38. Just now able to catch you. Have a blessed day. Mary, do you want to see a forecast since you're just popping on? Did you get the 7-day? What do you need since you're just popping on? Let me know in the comments. If anybody missed anything, it's 10:38. We got a second. We can pop on anything you want to know. As always, thank you, Mary Dale, for tuning in here. Just in case Mary doesn't comment back in time, I'm going to pop up the 7-day one more time because it's got good stuff on it. Good stuff, meaning we've got rain in that forecast. So let me get rid of that and bring up the 7-day once again. So summer-like for the rest of summer. It's our last weekend of summer, and then rain chance is increasing. It stays a bit humid next week, but with the clouds and the rain chance, is going to back off those temperatures a little bit. Lows in the 60s, highs mostly in the 80s next week, with increasing chances of some showers and thunderstorms as we head towards the middle of next week. Maybe we get an inch or two of rain by the end of next week, and that'll help out the drought conditions across the area. So that is good. Thanks, Mary. You have a blessed day as well. We'll leave it with Mary's comment right there as we finish off the show. As always, you can get our live stream, Ben at 10, every morning at 10 a.m., straight up 10 a.m., on extolmag.com/weather, which is right here. And then thank you for going to our YouTube page, by the way, and liking or subscribing. We're getting those numbers up. Just click on that red button right there, and that will take you right to Extol Media, EXTOL Media right there. And then you can subscribe. Very easy to do that. Thank you there. And turn on the notifications. We might be doing a severe weather day. You never know. And that'll give you the alert for that. Also, you can also find me and my products every day of the week We're giving you at least a 7-day forecast, a forecast for the next day. Lots of content here. If you follow my page, thank you very much. That is Meteorologist Ben Peine, Peine, right there. Extol Weather on Facebook and Extol Media on YouTube. I think I already mentioned that. That's enough of me blabbering. We're going to see you for Friday tomorrow morning, probably live from the back deck. And hope you make it a good Friday Eve for today. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for joining the weather family here in Southern Indiana and beyond. We'll see you tomorrow.